Going live now.
Okay.
Just loading it. There we go. Now we're live.
Okay, we have one more minute and then we'll start the meeting. Hopefully Duncan can get in shortly. My agenda printed in very small print, so I definitely need my glasses tonight.
Oh,
We're going to do things a little differently in that we're going to ask for movers and seconders. So if you put your hand up, then I'll say who the movers and seconders are, and Kathy's going to write it down. Okay?
Duncan's going to be about 10 minutes and then he'll be joining.
Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. And we'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. And now I would ask everyone to stand for the national anthem.
Okay, 1 second.
You won't see anybody's faces though.
We'll be out of the picture.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not hearing anything, Chris.
You're not? Okay.
No,
Um,
The words are up there, but no sound.
hold there. Hold on. Okay.
Nothing.
For now.
no.
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 Maybe we should just sing it.
Well,
Okay, well, that's our first glitch of the night. Let's hope that's the last one.
I thought that would work. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, that didn't work. That was strange.
Now I need a mover and a seconder for the approval of the agenda. Hands up.
It has Lynn and Susan, I see, Fran.
Okay,
Is there not an amendment to the agenda?
I have to read the motion.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll do the amendment, yes.
Okay, that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held January 9th, 2024 be approved as, and are there amendments, Kathy?
Yes, there are. There's going to be under closed session. We are having a closed session in regards to personnel matters about an identifiable individual. So that's item on 19 on the agenda.
Okay, that's the only amendment?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all those in favor? I must be froze up. I can't see any hands. I am assuming that that's carried.
Yes, it is.
All
You can
right.
use
Is there
the
any
raise
disclosure,
hand.
pecuniary interest, or general nature thereof of any item on tonight's agenda by any member of council? I'll put that in the minutes. I need a mover and a second to approve the minutes. I'm just going to pick people. How's that? Moved by Dan, seconded by Nikki. That the minutes from the November 28th, 2023, December 6th, 2023, December 12th, 2023, and December 15th, 2023 meetings of council be approved as presented. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, say no if you're not in favor. Carried. Mayor's remarks, just a couple of things. Our condolences to Ken Lee's family on his passing over the Christmas season. Never a good time, but certainly that's a bad time. So our condolences to his wife and family. January 13th, which is this Saturday coming, there will be a ribbon cutting at the library for the presentation of the Marcel Giroux plaque. So if anyone can come, that starts at 10 a.m. And that's all that I have. Deputy Mayor Irwin, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to add? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead then. There are no delegations, no public meetings. So our consent agenda, it's 1 to 5 and moved by Bill and seconded by Lynn, that council consent to the approval of items A, information, which is considered a routine item. Any discussion? All those in favor? Anyone voting no? Carried. No deferred items, staff reports. Andy, building and planning and building services. Moved by Susan and seconded by Philip, that council received the construction details report, December 2023, for information. Discussion or comments from folks? Andy, do you have any comments on your report? Looks like you had another busy year.
Yeah, it was a good year. I don't have anything else to add.
Numbers were very close to the year prior, not quite as high as 2021 at the beginning of the pandemic, but they were up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Anyone voting no? Carried. All right, the planning report. Moved by Bill and seconded by Danny, that council received the Central Frontenac Planning Activity Report for 2023 and the Central Frontenac 5-year planning report as prepared by the Planning Development Services Assistant dated January the 9th, 2024. Any comments from anyone? This is a new report, I believe, Janice, that you've prepared this for us.
Yeah, it's just an annual report for the planning side.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments for Janice? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Anybody voting no? Carried. Moving right along. Planning and building services. Moved by, who have I missed?
Cindy.
Cindy, there you are, Cindy, down at the bottom there. Moved by Cindy, seconded by Bill. Whereas Olden and Piccadilly halls both have electric baseboard heat, no cooling system, and limited mechanical ventilation. And whereas Hydro One is offering up to $25,000 community fund grant to organizations focused on safety to address pressing needs in their local community. And whereas the chief building official is recommending to council that we apply for the community fund grant to install heat pumps at the Olden and Piccadilly halls, as they will be more efficient, improve indoor air quality, and reduce greenhouse gases. Now, therefore, the chief building official that staff apply for the community fund grant up to $25,000 to replace the existing baseboard heaters at Olden and Piccadilly halls. And further, that the procurement of heat pumps be authorized for the Olden and Piccadilly halls if the grant is successful. Discussion. This could also help with the mold situation in Olden, I believe. Dan, go ahead.
Yes, I think constant temperature control would be a big issue with the moisture problem there and the smell. And I wanted to thank Andy for doing the research on that for the heat pump system through the Hydro One.
Okay,
But I think it would be a controlled environment would certainly help the moisture issue in the basement.
okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Susan, and then Lynn.
Philip?
No, Susan.
Okay, Philip has a hand up on my screen, but maybe not.
No, it's Susan and then Lynn.
Okay, I don't know why I can't see anybody here, but Susan, go ahead.
Hi. Yes, thank you, Andy, for your work on this. I was just wondering if there was any additional funding available from the federal government for heat pumps. I know they have them for residential. Wasn't sure if we can double dip.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Irwin. I believe the other grant is only for residential heat pumps, where this grant is just for anything that would benefit the community.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you, Andy.
okay, Lynn.
Yeah, Andy, I just want to say I love the idea. I mean, we have the heat pump in our house and it is so efficient. I would highly recommend it to anybody. My question though is, so you say the total capital cost is estimated at 26,500. And are you saying that the only cost to the township would be $1,500, or is the purchase price on top of all of this? Like, what's the total cost of doing this in these two halls?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Plages. Yeah, the only, if we were successful with the grant, the only cost to the township would be $1,500. Reading, I was just going to apply for the one hall, but reading through the application, it looks like they want to give $25,000 in one lump sum to a community project.
Excellent.
Good. Okay. And I see Duncan is with us now.
I apologize, Madam Mayor. I had some technical difficulties at the last minute. My apologies.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. No other questions or comments on this motion? Is there anyone voting no to the motion? Seeing and hearing no votes, motion's carried. All right, Public Works, moved by Duncan and seconded by Nikki, that council received the Public Works Activity Report dated December 2023 as prepared by the Public Works Manager for information. Discussion. Good report, I thought.
Nikki's got her hand up, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, it was an excellent report, Steve. Very detailed. Very much appreciated. I am very happy to see that we can save some money on grinding and bringing a company in if we can go back to burning the brush. My question is actually not from the report, but kind of related to tonight's weather. I was wondering if you could explain to us how you manage your staff hours when a storm comes through. So I know that the crews were into work at the regular time this morning, and of course the storm hit around noon, 1 o'clock. So could you explain how you do the scheduling and try and cover as much as possible with snow removal and keeping up to the storm, please, and thank you.
Yes, to you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Gowdy. The guys actually are probably still out right now. They were doing the hardtop roads right now, and I think they're going to be right back in at 3 o'clock in the morning to do the hard top and clean the back roads again. So there'll be a little space there, probably from 8 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the morning, where nobody will be on the back roads, but the highway truck will keep going all night until the storm's done. They do a 12-hour shift out there, each of them. So as long as the storm's out there, they'll keep going.
Is it, if I could have a follow-up, Madam Mayor, I'm sorry. Is there ever any thought about bringing them in later on days that you know that you're going to need them longer, or is it better to stick to the regular routine? Is it more fiscally responsible to stick to the regular routine, I guess?
To you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Gowdy. It's sometimes better to stick to the regular routine. They did a lot of maintenance. There was a lot of maintenance today. There was one person had to run to town to get parts for the trucks. They were getting everything ready. I know they hauled a few loads of sand back to Sharp Lake to have ready for the storm. Just before the storm like this, it's handy to have them make sure everything's ready to go. They have their chains all ready to go, and yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes regular. It's good to have them regular time, but this time it was a good time to have them regular time, and then have them back in early at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
One from
Susan, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through Madam Mayor to Steve. Thank you very much for your informative report, and particularly the education piece on the maintenance standards and so forth, in case we receive inquiries from folks. That was very helpful. Thank you.
For you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Irwin, thank you very much. That's I feel sometimes a little education helps people too. So
Sure. Okay. Any other comments from anyone? All right.
Yeah,
Anyone?
Philip has
Oh,
got his
sorry.
hand up.
Philip?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to ask Steve, so if staff are going back in at 3 o'clock, does that mean they're going to have a shorter shift? We're just trying to be cautious of overtime, right? So the extension of time.
I just want to remind folks, we're getting into operations now instead of policy. But Steve, go ahead.
to you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Smith. This is normally what we do. This is normally what we do all the time, and it works out. The odd time we can go longer. The guys can put a 12-hour shift in, no problem if they have to. So if they come in at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're good really till 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And you look ahead to the weather, should be warm and rain and cleared up by then, hopefully, and sun shining and everything's all good.
Appreciate that. And Madam Mayor, it was just getting clarity, because I mean, if we understand, then it's easier to pass on the understanding, right?
Let's hope. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right. The motion was to receive the report. Anybody voting no? Motion's carried. All right. No committee reports, no communications other than what was already in our agenda. Bylaw agreements, no. Notice of motion. Giving of notice of motion from Councillor Philip Smith.
Yes, Councillor Smith has provided to me a giving notice of motion for what to come forth. Did you want to read it, Councillor Smith, or would you like me to do it?
I can.
Okay.
So I've just asked that staff be requested to provide a copy of the existing township vehicle policy for further discussion by council at the next regular meeting of council, so that council may review the current policy and have an opportunity to make suggested changes or acknowledge the existing policy as is.
So it will be discussed at the next meeting, Madam Mayor.
So does that need a mover and a seconder?
No, it does not.
Okay, that's just a notice of motion. All right.
Correct.
Moving on to new or other business, we have a motion declaring an event as having municipal importance. Moved by Dan and seconded by Susan, that council declares the Wintertide Meltdown on February the 24th, 2024 at the Soldiers Memorial Hall as an event of municipal significance. And further, that the CAO clerk be authorized to sign a letter in support or other documentation that may be required from Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario in order to allow Daniel Lees from the Kick and Push Brewery to apply for a special occasion permit for said event. Okay, any discussion on that? Do you see any hands up, Kathy?
No.
All right. Is there anyone voting no? Okay, motion is carried. All right. Believe it or not, we are at the closed session already.
Yes, it's the first
right.
meeting of the year.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Kathy, you'll need to read the motion and then we'll go into closed and then we have to come back out to report or to do our confirming bylaw.
Yes, correct. Okay, so you want to tell me
We
who
need
was
a-
moving in second, please?
Yes, moved by Nikki and seconded by Bill.
Okay, that council resolve into closed session pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act to discuss 1, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, section 239(2)(b).
Okay. Discussion? All those in favor? Anyone voting no?